How can we be certain that God loves us and that Jesus is the one who can save us? Well, our certainty begins with the first words in the Bible, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. As explained in the last two videos, the verb used in Genesis 1:1, translated as create, means to bring into existence something entirely new that has never existed before. The phrase heavens and the earth means the entirety of everything, not just the earth and not just heaven. The Bible, as well as all of time and space, began with this simple but profound statement of creation ex nihilo, creation out of nothing. Christianity depends on the triune God creating the universe out of nothing. First of all, the fact that God created the universe out of nothing provides us with the assurance that God loves us and wants a relationship with us. And secondly, and the main point of this video, is that creation ex nihilo explains why Christ has the ability to redeem us and is the only one who can bring us back into relationship with the triune God. This is why John begins his gospel by reminding us that the Word made everything. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him not anything made that was made. The Word in this verse is Jesus. Jesus made all things. He is the Creator. This is one reason why Jesus exclusively has the ability to save us, and why he is the only way to God. 4th century Christian theologian Athanasius wrote that Jesus, as the Creator, was the only one who could recreate us. Jesus had to die on the cross and be resurrected to provide a way for us to be reconciled to God. Athanasius' primary explanation for why the crucifixion was necessary and why Jesus' death on the cross can save us is that the person who died on the cross and rose again is the same person who is called the Word in John 1:1. Christ is the same person through whom God created. The Word made both the orderly universe and humanity from nothing, and Hebrews 1:3 tells us that he is also continuously upholding the universe. As explained in the previous video, he created us in his image and gave us the privilege of living in a relationship with him. Athanasius explains that we were made to contemplate God, but instead we chose to focus on ourselves. This shift in attention caused us to fall into idolatry and perversity, returning us into our natural, corruptible state. Christ, the one who created the universe and originally made us in his image, refused to abandon us or allow us to return to nothing because of his goodness and because of his love. As the Creator, Jesus is the only one who can also recreate and redeem the image in humanity. By taking on a mortal human body and allowing himself to be sacrificed, he destroyed death and renewed human beings in his image. Athanasius' book, On the Incarnation, describes how we are saved from our idolatry and rebellion as the resolution of two dilemmas. The first dilemma was that humanity was created for life, but instead chose death. We were given a law with death as the penalty. When we broke that law, God had the right to snuff us out of existence. Instead, because we contained the image of the Word, the image of Christ, God chose to fix the problem differently. The dilemma is that we deserved death, but God loved us too much to destroy us. And at the same time, God cannot let sin go unpunished. So to solve this dilemma, Christ took on a human body and chose to suffer on behalf of all, to intercede for all before the Father. The second dilemma is that humanity was created to know God, but instead chose ignorance, losing the knowledge of God by focusing on ourselves. Or, as Athanasius says, by refusing to look up. Since humans were too weak to keep their eyes on God, God sent prophets and gave us the law in an attempt to refocus us. When we continued to concentrate on physical things in our rebellion and idolatry, Christ became what we craved, taking on a physical body on which we could direct our attention. Subsequently, through his works, Jesus showed humanity what God was like, to get our focus back on God. We know Christ by his actions, and it was through the works done while in this physical body that Jesus chose to reintroduce us to the knowledge of God. Therefore, the second dilemma was solved by Christ coming in human form, dying and rising again, surpassing anything a human had ever done and demonstrating God's attributes to all humanity. In order to redeem death, Christ had to die on behalf of all. To liberate humanity, the body that died had to be of the same mortal human substance and die like all human bodies. However, Jesus could not have died in a normal manner. His death had to be public so that everyone would know that he really died. Jesus also had to let humanity choose how he would die so that the power of death would be completely annihilated. He had to accept whatever kind of killing we invented to demonstrate that he could triumph over any kind of death. It was appropriate that crucifixion was chosen. Accepting a death through a cursed method allowed Jesus to bear the curse of death for us. No one else but the Word, the creator of the universe, could turn what was corruptible into something incorruptible. No one else except the one who created could recreate again in the image of humanity. No one else except the author of life could raise up the mortal to be immortal. No one else but the Son could show us God. Jesus, as the creator and sustainer of the universe, is the only person who can raise us from the dead and guarantee an eternal universe in which we can live. The good news is that Jesus wants to have an eternal relationship with you. All you have to do is ask him.